Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Black Knitter. I'm Liz, the Black Knitter, and I am happy to be here sooner than I was for the last episode. If you have hung in there with me, I appreciate you so much, and I am glad that you are back. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found our community, and I hope you come back again and again. On this episode, it's not kind of your typical knitting podcast, although we do all the yarny stuff. I'm trying to create a space of beloved community. So we talk about how race impacts the experience of Black and Brown people, particularly in the making community. So I usually talk a little bit about that. And I also like to promote Black and Brown makers because they don't get enough attention. So I like to share my knowledge about the makers that I have learned about and love, so that you know about them too. I am not going to spend some time on education today. This is primarily going to be an episode about my experience at the wool gathering, which was back in September. Yeah, it's been a while. But I wanted to get that footage to you and share with you some of the things that we did. So this episode is going to include some footage from there. I'm going to show you the things that I bought. I'm just trying to make it through all of the things that I have purchased or received in the time that I was away. I was away for a couple of months, a long time, just because, as I said in the last episode, I have been very busy with work. I am still very busy with work. But there's some exciting things happening, so I want to let you know about that. And we will get back to the education piece for sure. I will never stop talking about that. So just a brief mention about things that have been happening. This is the Habari Gani section. Habari Gani means what's the news? So what's happening? A couple of weekends ago, I was able to go to Orlando to hang out with my daughter for a long weekend. I caught the last day of the Food and Wine Festival. I'll pop a couple of pictures in here somewhere so you can see that it was a lot of fun. And then we had Thanksgiving, which was great. Had a small group at my dad's house. So it was just me and my husband, my cousin Tim. Hey, Tim. Of course, my dad, my two youngest brothers, and my youngest brother's wife. It was good food. I brought some cookies and icing that a friend of mine put together for me. Her name is Tina. She has a cookie business called Just Add Cookies. If you're in the Akron area, she makes some really fantastic cookies. She's so artistic. It's amazing. But we did our own version of Nailed It with the cookie decorating. It was a lot of fun. As far as work is concerned, we're going to be going into the last week of the semester here, and the last week of the semester is always really busy because so many offices and departments are doing things for students who are graduating, or there are programs that are wrapping up, so we're celebrating those kinds of things. So I think I have something that I have to be at almost every evening this week coming up. And my husband's going out of town for work, Mr. Black Knitter. So it'll be a little bit of a challenge managing the dogs and all of that while he's gone. But we'll get it done. Nico update. Nico is my 15-year-old teacup Yorkie. He's actually sleeping in his bed down here. So I'm not gonna wake him up, but he's still hanging in there. You know, he has good days and he has just okay days. Today is one of those okay days, you know, where his appetite is kind of down. But he hasn't had any bad days. So, you know, as long as he's comfortable and eating, we're going to hang in there with him. So, and we're still, you know, doing monthly checks with the vet. So, he's still hanging in there. So I appreciate your continued prayers for Nico. And then last night I had a really great time with my mom. Her birthday was on Thursday, and I took her out to dinner at a really nice restaurant, and we went to see the Hip Hop Nutcracker. If you have an opportunity to see that, you should go. It is phenomenal. It was so much better than I knew it was going to be good, but it was really, really phenomenal. And if you're a fan of hip hop, it was really kind of a trip down memory lane with me, all the way back to Rapper's Delight, if you're familiar with that song. And Curtis Blow was the narrator. So it was really, really good. We really enjoyed ourselves. So that is my updates. Let's talk about some creativity or kuumba. I'll tell you some things that I have been working on the last couple of weeks. Let me pull those out. Got my cart back here. I cast on a couple of projects right before I left for Florida, just so I'd have something to kind of work on that didn't take a lot of brain power. So many of you are probably familiar with the muscle burrow hat pattern. I'll drop a link to it. A lot of people have been making this hat, or were making it last year. But I finally bought it and just pulled out some extra yarn that I had from my percentages turtleneck that I made last year. So this is where I'm at with that. This is a hat that you start at one end and then you knit it all the way to the other end, and you then double it up. So you put one end inside the other, so you have double thickness. So did that. It's really good TV knitting, or sometimes I take it to work just to keep my hands busy at lunchtime while I'm listening to a podcast, because it keeps me from being on my computer and working through lunch. I'm trying to be better about that. I want to be more intentional about taking breaks at work, since there's a lot to do at my job. And then the other thing that I cast on, again, just to have something to keep my hands busy. Oh, and that yarn, I forgot, for the Musselburgh hat is Malabrigo Arroyo in the colorway Arco Iris. I love Malabrigo yarn. They have such great colors. This next thing I cast on is actually a free pattern. It's called the Shalom Cardigan. And all the links to this stuff will be below. But it's using Berroco Wizard in the colorway Labradorite. And this color is fantastic. It's a bulky weight yarn. Look at that. And I'll show you how it's knitting up. This is, again, I don't know if I said this. This is a free pattern. Again, it'll be linked below. It's a top-down cardigan, and it's only written for one size. I mean, it's a free pattern. And there aren't really instructions for how to make it bigger. But because of the size that it's written in, I'm just gonna send this to my daughter. I'm gonna try and finish it so I can send it to her for Christmas. But that's where I'm at. I've already split for the sleeves. It's short sleeve, but I've got plenty of this yarn, so I might add some sleeves. I don't know. But it will be fine like this. I mean, she lives in Florida. She doesn't need the bulky cardigan with sleeves, really. But it's cute. I think she'll like the colors. This is the front. So it's got a garter stitch, and it's designed to have one button at the top, and then it's open the rest of the way. And the yoke is really cool. It's kind of a half brioche kind of pattern. I like it. And again, this yarn is really, really cool. And because it's so bulky, it is knitting up very quickly. So I probably can finish that. Oh, and I also, let me show you this. I made another True Crime and Knit hat. This is just some scraps that I had. This is some of that Malabrigo yarn that I had left over. And this is some Superfine Yarn Co. scraps that I had. And the colors just worked really well together. So I love this pattern. I'll be teaching this again. I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I love this pattern. It works up really fast. It's a really nice hat. Nice and heavy. I like that. So that is what I have been working on. I still have my son's sweater that I'm working on. It's underneath the hat that I just showed you. So I'm hoping to put some time into his sweater this weekend. Because I have some time where I can focus on it. That is not TV knitting because the cable pattern is easy to mess up if you're not paying attention. So I like to listen to an audiobook when I'm working on that, or just have something that's like background noise. Because again, you gotta focus when you're doing that many cables. Before I move on to Ujamaa or cooperative economics, to show you all of the stuff I purchased at the wool gathering, I wanted to announce the winner of the yarn from Emily at Knit One Cultivate Two. It's really pretty. I showed this in the last episode, so I'm not going to take it out of the bag. But I just used a random comment picker to pick the winner, and the winner is 20 Minutes with Tracy. Yay! So Tracy, if you could send me a message at theblackknitter@gmail.com with your contact information. Or you can direct message me on Instagram if you're on Instagram. I will get that out to you in the mail expeditiously. So, congratulations. And thanks for all of your comments. You guys are just beautiful people. So I love and appreciate each and every one of you. All right. As promised, I'm going to show you the things that I purchased at the wool gathering. I did not purchase a lot. I was trying to be good. I've got quite a stash. And I actually purchased Stephen West's stash busting workshop, which was very good. And it's not too much. It's only $40, and it includes 2 of his patterns. So it's a pretty good deal. But he talked about mixing yarn weights and choosing a color palette, and talks about each of the patterns that's included with the workshop and how you can put together a group of yarns for each of those patterns. So it was really good. So one of the patterns that he has is basically a stash busting sweater. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try to remember to drop it in the description box. But I think I might try to make that sweater with some of the yarn that I have. And you'll understand why I mention that in a moment. We'll get to that. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you, I purchased from Thirsty Cat Designs at thirstycat.com is the website. Thirsty Cat is a independent dyer, and her name is Kelly. And I got 2 skeins of BFL DK weight yarn in the colorway with Great Aplomb. She has some great names for her colors. So this is what it looks like. It's got that BFL sheen and squish. I really like that. That's showing it pretty true to color there on the screen. The lighting here is very good today because it's overcast. It's been raining all morning. This, y'all know, BFL is one of my favorites. You know, MCN and BFL, 2 of my favorite fibers. I still have my Waffler cardigan by Disturbing the Fleece in progress. And this color will actually go really well with the brown BFL that I'm making that cardigan in. So if I'm running low, I can use this to work on that. So that was my first purchase, and you'll see some footage of her booth in the wool gathering footage that I'll put on the end of the video. And then I stopped by Frog It Yarns, and it's a yarn truck, and they sell, of course, yarn, but they're also known for their baskets that they partner with an organization to sell. So I bought a couple of things. I got this fingerless mitt kit because look at that royal blue and white there. That's my sorority colors, in case you didn't know. First time here. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and that is our sorority colors. That's what drew my attention. And this is a really easy color work pattern there. So looking forward to making those. And then I got a couple of skeins of Kelborn Woolens Scout, and this is the colorway Navy Heather. Really nice blue. And this is really nice. It's 100% wool. I've heard really good things about this yarn, so I'm looking forward to making something with it. Don't know what yet. I am trying to buy, when I buy yarn now, buy 2 skeins instead of 1. But now that I have these ideas about stash busting, that's not that much of a concern anymore. But it is better, I think, to have 2 skeins of a color than 1. So I'm probably going to keep that habit up. And then I bought a basket. So Frogget Yarns partners with African Market, which is a fair trade company. So these baskets are actually made on the continent of Africa, and the women that make these baskets earn good money. That's what fair trade is all about, making sure that people who produce goods are getting paid a fair and living wage. So I got this basket. I've been wanting one of these for a while. I'll probably add it to my Kwanzaa table when we set up our Kwanzaa stuff later in the month. But it's also really good for storage. You could also use this for a purse. It's like the perfect size for that. So love this little basket. When you see them, you will know them because they put a bunch of different sizes of these baskets outside their truck. So they're easy to find at yarn festivals. So that was my Frogget purchase. And then the other purchase I made whenever I go to a wine festival. That's another thing that I did. Last weekend, my brother and I went, we bought tickets to this thing called the Tannenbaum Trail. If you don't know, you're not from Ohio, there are a lot of wineries in Ohio. The Lake Erie region is very good for growing grapes, apparently. But I've done this a couple of years now where they have this thing where you buy a ticket and you indicate the first winery that you're going to stop at on the list. So you go there and you pick up, they give you a tabletop Christmas tree. It's about 18 inches high. And a card, a tasting card. The tree has lights and some ribbon to decorate it. And then at every winery that you stop at on your tasting card, there's probably 20 or 25 wineries on the list. It's a sizable list. You get a tasting of at least 2 wines, and you get an appetizer. And they also give you an ornament that has the name of the winery for your little tree. So it's kind of cool. It's a good way to taste new wines at the different wineries and to get out the house. For this particular event, it's basically every weekend between Thanksgiving and Christmas where you can go visit different wineries. So when me and my brother went, we did 6 or 7 on the list. And when my husband gets back from his work travel, we'll do some more on the list when he's back. So it's just really fun. That's why I had wine. That's why I said wine trail instead of a yarn festival. But the last purchase I made was from Superfine Yarn Co. I have mentioned them before. It's a Cleveland-based independent dyer. Sarah is the name of the dyer. And unfortunately, she just announced that she is going to be closing her business because the whole time that she's been doing this, she has been doing it part-time. She works full-time as a librarian, and it was just getting too hard, she said, to manage both things. So she has, like I said, decided to close her business. So I would say if you're interested in getting any of her yarns, she does have some things left up on the website. You want to check those out soon, because you know, once it's gone, it's gone. But she made the Mandalorian mini set that I used to make my son's Not Too Tart hat. That's a pattern by Disturbing the Fleece that he really liked. So I actually picked up some more mini sets from her because I just love them. But I'm going to use these for that stash busting Stephen West sweater, because these are perfect. So, and I have several sets of minis from her. So this is the Mandalorian set. And these, if you've watched The Mandalorian, these colors are like excellent. She did such a good job on these Mandalorian colors. I mean, she does a good job on all of hers. This one is called Aliens. It's on the sparkle base, just like the Mandalorian set. So this is based on the movie Aliens. Really cool. And then this one, one of my favorite movies, this is gonna sound silly, but it's true, is Hellboy. And I think one of the reasons that I really like it is, you know, Hellboy is supposed to be this evil creature that does bad things. And the villains in the movie are really trying to get him to fulfill his destiny. Like, you're supposed to be evil, so you just need to embrace it and be evil and help us usher in evil. But he doesn't. He's a hero. He loves cats. So, Sarah had this mini set called Hellboy. And when I tell you these colors are so representative of the movie, they really are. This is great. So I'm so glad that I was able to pick those up. And I'm going to put these together with the other mini sets. They're all sparkle that I have from Sarah, and put those into that Stephen West sweater. Let me see if I can find the name of it real quick. It's called the Rain or Shine sweater. I'll drop a link to the pattern, although Stephen West does not need my help finding customers. Those are my wool gathering purchases. And again, you'll see footage of the things that we saw when we were at the festival and in the Dayton area. I mentioned that Mr. Black Knitter is originally from Columbus, but spent a lot of his growing up years in Dayton. So we spent a lot of, and he went to college in Dayton. So we spent some time just visiting some sites, went to a really nice museum. So you'll see some footage from the sites around Dayton as well. But if you ever have a chance to go to the wool gathering, it is worth the trip, if only to get some ice cream from Young's Dairy, because the ice cream is fantastic. Okay, I promised a couple of announcements, some stuff I'm really excited about. My Learn to Knit class went very well. I've actually taught 2 now. They've both gone very well. I also did a beginner hat class, went very well. My next upcoming classes at Harps and Thistles will be in January, both Learn to Knit and beginner hat. I am also going to, in February, I'll be adding a beginner shawl class. So if you want to learn how to knit a shawl, if you haven't done that before, sign up. That one is not posted yet on the website, but it will be soon. But the January classes are up, so if you know somebody who's in the Akron area who has wanted to learn how to knit or knit a hat, have them check out the Harps and Thistles website. Another thing, in addition to teaching at Harps and Thistles, I'm going to be doing, thanks to Cindy, a regular yarn social at Harps and Thistles beginning in February. It's going to be the first Sunday of the month at 1 o'clock. So I hope that some of you can come. I'm really excited about it. The first social that we do in February is going to kick off my 2nd annual Black History Make-Along. So we're going to do that, and I'm actually going to do a live YouTube episode from the shop on that day. I think it's February 5th. So if you are in the area and you want to participate in the YouTube live and be with us and knitting and seeing some of the things that Cindy is going to feature in the Sharp Harps and Thistles to celebrate Black History Month, come on down. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really, really looking forward to it. For the Black History Make-Along, what we do is we commit to making an item that either features yarn that is dyed by a Black independent dyer or a pattern designed by a Black designer. There will be prizes. You get an entry for each item that you make. And if you do something that features yarn and a pattern by a Black maker, then you get 2 entries instead of 1. So, and you can double dip. You can enter it in multiple make-alongs. I don't care about that. You don't have to finish your project by the end of the month, but you do have to start it. So be on the lookout for that. I'm really looking forward to it. There were so many good projects this past year when I did it. Learned about some new designers and dyers in the process. So it was really, really good. So we'll be doing that again, and we're going to kick it off at the first Yarn Social in February at Harps and Thistles. So if you can't be there in person, you can tune into the live. But if you are local, please come down to the shop and participate. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then the other thing I would say is, if you're in the area and you just want to hang out, at Harps and Thistles, they have a yarn social every Thursday evening from 6 to 8. It's a really good group. I'll be there almost every Thursday in January because I'll be there teaching. So, if you feel more comfortable coming because I'll be there, I will be there just about every Thursday in January. But it is a very good group. a very inclusive group. So check it out if you're in the area. And all yarn crafts are welcome. We have knitters, we have crocheters. There's one person that comes regularly that does Portuguese knitting, which is really cool to watch if you've never seen that. So just some really nice folks who participate in that Thursday night group. So that is it. Enjoy the footage from the wool gathering, and I will see you next time. Asante Sana.